Welcome to our deep dive into the European Union, where we'll explore the intricate dynamics between nationalism and multiculturalism. These two powerful forces significantly influence the EU's policies and the internal politics of its member countries. Join us as we uncover how the European Union works to balance the ideals of a unified Europe with the rich cultural identities of its citizens. The European Union is a unique political and economic union of 27 member states, each with its own distinct culture, language, and history. Founded on principles of cooperation and integration, the EU aims to foster peace, stability, and prosperity throughout Europe. However, within this diverse union, the forces of nationalism and multiculturalism often pull in different directions, creating a dynamic and sometimes contentious relationship. Nationalism highlights the interests, culture, and identity of individual nations. It promotes pride and loyalty to one's country, but can also lead to exclusionary practices and resistance to external influences. In contrast, multiculturalism celebrates the coexistence of diverse cultures within a society. It promotes inclusivity, tolerance, and the integration of immigrants and minority groups. Balancing these two forces is crucial for the EU's stability and cohesion. The rise of nationalism in the EU. In recent years, nationalism has surged across Europe. Economic challenges like the financial crisis and subsequent austerity measures have fueled dissatisfaction among many citizens. This discontent often manifests as a desire to reclaim national sovereignty and reject perceived overreach by the EU. Political parties with nationalist agendas have gained significant support in several member states. These parties often advocate for stricter immigration controls, protectionist economic policies, and the preservation of national traditions and values. Notable examples include the National Rally in France, the Alternative for Germany, and Poland's Law and Justice Party, PIS. These movements reflect a growing sentiment that the EU's integration efforts undermine national identity and autonomy. Brexit, the UK's decision to leave the EU, is perhaps the clearest example of nationalist sentiment. The campaign to leave the EU was driven by concerns over immigration, national sovereignty, and economic independence. Brexit has had profound implications for the EU, prompting debates about the Union's future and the balance of power between member states and EU institutions. The role of multiculturalism in the EU. Contrasting the rise of nationalism, multiculturalism plays a vital role in shaping the European Union's identity and policies. The EU promotes multiculturalism through its policies on immigration, human rights, and social inclusion. The principle of free movement, enshrined in the EU's founding treaties, allows citizens to live and work in any member state, fostering cultural exchange and diversity. The EU also supports initiatives that celebrate cultural diversity and promote the integration of immigrants and minority communities. Programs like Erasmus Plus enable students and young people to study and volunteer abroad, enhancing their understanding of different cultures. Multiculturalism is not without its challenges. Integration can be a complex and sometimes contentious process, particularly in countries experiencing high levels of immigration. Issues such as unemployment, social exclusion, and cultural differences can create tensions between native populations and immigrant communities. However, the EU's commitment to promoting inclusivity and diversity remains a cornerstone of its values. Policy responses to nationalism and multiculturalism. The European Union must navigate the delicate balance between respecting national sovereignty and promoting a cohesive, multicultural society. This balancing act is evident in the EU's policy responses to various challenges. One key area is immigration policy. The EU's common asylum system aims to provide a coordinated approach to handling refugees and asylum seekers. However, member states have differing views on immigration, leading to disagreements on burden sharing and resettlement. Countries like Hungary and Poland have resisted EU quotas for relocating refugees, citing concerns over national security and cultural identity. In contrast, Germany and Sweden have taken in large numbers of refugees, reflecting a more multicultural approach. The EU also addresses nationalism and multiculturalism through its cohesion policy, which aims to reduce disparities between regions and promote economic, social, and territorial cohesion. By investing in infrastructure, education, and job creation, the EU seeks to address the root causes of discontent and foster a sense of shared prosperity among its citizens. Another important aspect is protecting basic rights. The EU Charter of Fundamental Rights guarantees a range of civil, political, economic, and social rights to all citizens. This includes protections against discrimination based on race, gender, religion, or ethnicity. The EU's commitment to human rights underscores its dedication to fostering an inclusive, multicultural society. The impact on domestic politics. The interplay between nationalism and multiculturalism significantly impacts the domestic politics of EU member states. Nationalist movements often influence political discourse and policy decisions, leading to stricter immigration laws, changes in social policies, and debates over national identity. In countries like Hungary and Poland, nationalist governments have implemented policies that emphasize traditional values, limit the influence of foreign NGOs, and curtail media freedoms. These actions have drawn criticism from the EU, which views them as undermining democratic principles and the rule of law. Conversely, in countries with strong multicultural traditions, such as Sweden and Germany, governments have focused on integration policies, anti-discrimination measures, and support for cultural diversity. These policies aim to create a more inclusive society, but also face challenges related to social cohesion and public perception. The dynamics between nationalism and multiculturalism also shape electoral outcomes. Nationalist parties often gain support by appealing to voters' concerns over immigration, economic uncertainty, and national identity. Meanwhile, parties that advocate for multiculturalism and EU integration emphasize the benefits of diversity, international cooperation, and human rights. The future of the EU, the future of the European Union hinges on its ability to balance nationalism and multiculturalism. As the EU continues to evolve, it must address the concerns of its citizens while upholding its core values of unity, diversity, and human rights. One potential path forward is greater flexibility in policy implementation, allowing member states to tailor EU directives to their national contexts. This could help bridge the gap between national sovereignty and EU integration, fostering a sense of ownership and cooperation among member states. Another approach is to strengthen the EU's socio-economic cohesion policies. By addressing regional disparities and investing in education, healthcare, and job creation, the EU can mitigate some of the economic grievances that fuel nationalism. Promoting inclusive growth and social mobility can help build a more resilient and cohesive union. The EU must also continue to promote dialogue and understanding between different cultural communities. Initiatives that encourage cultural exchange, education, and civic engagement can help bridge divides and foster a sense of shared European identity. Balancing nationalism and multiculturalism is one of the most significant challenges facing the European Union today. These forces shape the Union's policies and the domestic politics of its member nations, influencing everything from immigration to human rights. By navigating this complex landscape, the EU can continue to promote peace, stability, and prosperity across Europe. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of nationalism and multiculturalism in the European Union. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let us know in the comments how you think the EU should balance these forces. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analyses of important global issues. See you in the next video.